Chapter 804. This time, Mu Ling had finally said something sensible. Sponsored Content Remove Ads. Originally, Mu Ling had never thought of making Mu Huan Hai Rong's disciple. However, Qingyang had constantly groaned and murmured that Huan was wasting her talent if she could not get a good master. Moreover, Mu Huan had a passion for medicine since she was little. Hai Rong was not only a divine physician. He was also an extremely omnipotent warrior. Otherwise, he would not have been highly respected in this realm. Hence, Mu Ling had decided to make Hai Rong Mu Huan's master. Sponsored Content Remove Ads. Originally Hai Rong did not want to take any disciple. However, he had accepted Mu Ling's request as he owed Su Yi a favor. With Mu Huan's own strength, she would not be able to make it this far without a renowned master. Hence, it was all because of Su Yi. However, Chen Qingyang disagreed with Mu Ling. Her daughter had accomplished something with her own effort and had nothing to do with Su Yi. Brother Ling, Nanxian has always been haughty. Even if you want to make him Hai Rong's disciple, he would not have agreed. Hence, Huana is the most suitable disciple for Hai Rong. Chen Qingyang lowered her eyes to hide the resentment brewing in her eyes. Nanxian doesn't need a master. He is the best talent that I have ever seen. Otherwise, I wouldn't have tolerated him again and again for the things that he has done to the Mu family and wanting to get him back. Mu Ling merely smiled. Sponsored Content Remove Ads. Nanxian was the only one who turned out to be a rare talent out of the two young masters in the Mu family. Although Mu Huan's strength was much stronger than Mu Shi, there was no lack of talent in Tianshan Manor. As Mu Huan was Hai Rong's disciple, she had made remarkable progress in medicine. As for her cultivation, even the strength of the young lady in the Luo family, Luo Li, was better than her. Currently, Luo Li was no match for Mu Huan as Luo Li was too young. Luo Li was merely 14 years old after her birthday, whereas Mu Huan had reached the age of 19. She was turning 20 soon. Qingyang, Huana has reached the age of marriage. I have contemplated this. If the divine physician Qingxian of Paramount is not a male, or there is no way to get him to marry Mu Huan, I will arrange a marriage with Deity's Gate. Mu Ling narrowed his eyes. The daughter of the manor master is a fat lady. Hence, she could hardly step into Paramount. As for the rest of the families, Qin Feiya would be Nanxian's wife soon. The lady in the Luo family is too young while the Tian family only has an incompetent son. Mu Ling paused for a while. Sponsored Content Remove Ads. Hence, Huana is the best choice. The person you want Huana to marry is... Chen Qingyan's eyes lit up as she looked up at Mu Ling. The young master of Deity's Gate who helms Paramount, Zhu Ming. Mu Ling smiled. 1 inch. Although Zhu Ming has told everyone out there that he is the young master of Paramount, everyone knows that he is actually the master of Paramount. He is no doubt the perfect match for Huana. Huana would be the lady of Paramount and she could easily command the divine physician. At this time, Mu Huan heard Mu Ling's words at the door of the main hall with Mu Shi in tow. Her cold face changed suddenly. She quickly pushed Mu Shi away and walked into the main hall. I won't marry him. Huana. Father, I won't marry Zhu Ming. Mu Huan's eyes were filled with disdain. I heard that Zhu Ming has a hideous countenance. He has frightened countless women to death. That's the reason he covers his face with a mask. Do you really want me to marry someone who looks like a ghost? Chapter 805. Your master said that only the divine physician of Paramount is capable of curing your grandfather. Mu Ling's face darkened. Sponsored Content Remove Ads. Since he only cares for Su Yi and Nanxian, let Su Yi marry Zhu Ming. I will never marry him. Mu Huan smirked. Huana, stop this nonsense. Su Yi is your mother after all. Anger crept into Mu Ling's face. As Mu Huan had always been lovable, Mu Ling simply did not know why she had said that. Hearing this, Chen Qingyang panicked and shot Mu Huan a warning gaze. Sponsored Content Remove Ads. Father, you have always thought that I could make it this far because of Su Yi and want me to respect her. That is total nonsense. I have become Hai Rong's disciple with my own effort. Mu Huan sneered. She did not notice Chen Qingyan's signal. It was Mu Huan's own effort and it had nothing to do with Suyi or even the Mu family. Why did her father always think that Suyi was behind all these? After all, an old lady who had no tolerance for others should never be respected. Previously, Mu Huan had always been respectful to Mu Ling as she was highly favored and deeply loved by Mu Ling. Moreover, her strength was not strong. Hence, she must rely on the Mu family. Currently, she was a disciple of great master Hai Rong and even her father dared not to mess with her master. Hence, she must chase her own happiness. Moreover, why must she respect a lady who had taken someone else's husband away? Sponsored Content Remove Ads. Huana, apologize to your father. In a fury, Chen Qingyang slapped Mu Huan's face as she said, anxiously. Mu Huan's face reddened from the slap. The corner of her lips lifted a little as she stared disappointedly at Chen Qingyang. Mother, I am not a coward like you. You have always been thoughtful to her even though she has taken your dearest husband away. She even made you a concubine. I have seen you crying a few times at night. You are too considerate and care too much for her reputation. However, everyone knows that she has run away with another man. Even so, father still cares for her. Why are you still defending such an unfaithful lady? Hearing this, color drained from Chen Qingyang's face. She raised her hand, wanting to slap Mu Huan again, but her hand paused in midair for quite a while. Read more chapter on VIP novel. Chen Qingyang's face was covered in tears, her eyes were filled with dejection, her body shook with sorrow. Sponsored Content Remove Ads. Originally, Mu Ling was furious. However, Chen Qingyang's reaction was as if a sword was pierced his heart, tearing his heart apart. He quickly rushed over to hug Chen Qingyang. 1-inch Qingyang, I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. I didn't know that you have always been defending her reputation. I have truly neglected you. I am such a bastard. I promise that I will make you one of my principal wives. Is that all right? At this moment, Mu Ling's mind was filled with Mu Huan's words. He had never thought of whether or not his promise would infuriate Suyi. It turned out that Qingyang had always been acting to be strong every time when she was with Mu Ling. In fact, she felt so dejected every night. Qingyang was the only one who loved Mu Ling wholeheartedly in this world. How could Mu Ling break her heart? Huana, you can leave now. This time, I forgive you because of your mother. No matter how much you hate Suyi, you must not show that on your face. Do you understand? Mu Ling turned to look at Mu Huan. Mu Huan merely snorted and turned to leave. When she walked past Mu Shi who was lying on the ground, she did not notice that Mu Shi had nearly passed out from the pain. Chapter 806. Mu Ling and Chen Qingyang who were still in the main hall did not notice Mu Shi. Sponsored Content Remove Ads. Suddenly, a loud cry was heard. Mu Ling and Chen Qingyang quickly regained their senses. Young master, are you all right? Mu Shi was on the verge of tears. He wanted to shout but his voice was caught in his throat. Fortunately, someone had finally found him. Chen Qingyang turned her head around only to see Mu Shi lying on the ground, curled up in pain. His face was ghastly pale. Xia, what happened to you? Don't scare me. Sponsored Content Remove Ads. Go and get Grandmaster Hai Rong to treat him. Chen Qingyang rushed to the door anxiously. At your command, lady, the servant said respectfully and left. In the courtyard, Luo Li had left. As soon as Feng Ruqing sat down, a tender and soft body plunged into her embrace like a pendant hanging on her body. Sponsored Content Remove Ads. Mother, I have missed you so much. With a bright smile, Qinghan put her hands around Feng Ruqing's neck and kissed her cheek. Why do you wake up so quickly this time? Where is Fu Chen? Feng Ruqing held the little girl in her arms, the corner of her lips lifted. Brother Fu Chen is still sleeping. Something has woken me up just now. What is that? Feng Ruqing frowned as she asked. I have no idea. Something in the place that you went to today kept calling me. So, I woke up. Qinghan said, bewildered. Sponsored Content Remove Ads. Do you know where is that place? It's 10 miles from the street where the herbal store is located. Qinghan nodded. Feng Ruqing had a good grasp of the terrain in Tianshan Manor ever since she reached here. 10 miles from that street, I assentee that the manor master? No one is staying within 3 miles from the manor master. If Qing Han is right, that thing must be kept in the manor master. Lost in thought, Feng Ruqing did not say anything for a long while. Mother, I want that thing. That poor thing keeps calling out to me and has woke me up from my dream. The spirit herb in my tummy has not been fully digested. Hence, my strength has not improved much. Qing Han pursed her lips, tears welled up in her eyes. Poor Qing Han. She was forcibly awakened. If she could not get the thing that had woken her up, that would be so miserable. Luo Li said that her father has been busy preparing gifts for the past few days as the birthday of the manor lady in the chief manor is around the corner. I will get Luo Li to bring me along. This time, you need to listen carefully to find out what is calling you. Seeing Qing Han's aggrieved face, Feng Ruqing stroked her head gently. Qing Han stopped crying and broke into a bright smile. A dark blush rose in her cheeks. She looked extremely adorable. My mother is so great. Qing Han rubbed her face against Feng Ruqing's. My good daughter, although you are not my biological daughter, since you call me your mother, I will take care of you. Feng Ruqing pinched the Qing Han's face. I will always be cordial. I will listen to you and bite whomever you wish for me to bite. Both Qing Han and Fu Chen had been living on their own for years. Now that Feng Ruqing had stepped into their lives, they would never have to suffer from loneliness and hunger anymore. As long as Feng Ruqing did not leave Qing Han, she would listen to Feng Ruqing and never make her angry. Chapter 807. Feng Ruqing held the little maiden tightly in her arms, the corner of her lips slightly lifted. Sponsored Content Remove ads. Sunlight shone down on both of them. Covered with glistening rays of sunshine, the courtyard was extremely warm and peaceful. In the inner yard of the Qin family, Lady Qin Wen Yu's eyes lit up as she saw Qin Xiaoye. Sponsored Content Remove ads. Xiaoye, what happened to you and Luo Fei? Wen Yu walked up to Qin Xiaoye, slowly. Hearing this, Qin Xiaoye could not help but feel resentful and gritted her teeth. That old fart of the Luo family is really stubborn. His daughter too is shameless. Luo Fei is nothing but an old fart who has lost his wife. It is a blessing that I am willing to marry him. Who do the people of the Luo family think they are to stop me? Wen Yu furrowed her brows as she looked at Qin Xiaoye resentfully. Xiaoye, if Luo Fei knew that you are infertile because of the miscarriage back then, do you think he would have wanted to marry you? Qin Xiaoye's face darkened as she clenched her fists tightly. She could not get married all these years because she was infertile. In fact, she had fallen for a young master when she was young. When her father found out that the young master was powerless, he had beaten the young master to death. However, Qin Xiaoye had slept with the young master and had gotten pregnant. She even had a miscarriage because of the whole incident. Sponsored Content Remove ads. Then, Qin Xiaoye's father had locked her up in a fit of anger and did not allow anyone to visit her. Only when she could no longer hold on, her father released her and got a physician to treat her. However, the physician had actually told Qin Xiaoye something that she could not accept. She could never bear another child for the rest of her life. Xiaoye, don't forget this. No one in this world would marry you besides Luo Fei. Well, if Luo Fei had known about this, you might never have had a chance to get married. Wen Yu forced a smile as she said, Sister-in-law, if you have something to say, you can just tell me. You don't need to beat around the bush. Qin Xiaoye's face changed. I know that Luo Fei is giving a piece of grade 6 rare spirit herb to Gue as a birthday gift. Do me a favor. Replace it with poison. Wen Yu's eyes were full of resentment. Sponsored Content Remove ads. Panicking, Qin Xiaoye raised her head to look at Wen Yu. Sister-in-law, what are you doing? This is something that your brother wants you to do but he did not manage to tell you. Hence, I am here to convey his message. Don't you ever forget how your father died. It was the old lady of the Luo family who killed him. Initially, the Luo family has lost its foothold in this realm. However, since Jiyusha has taken the helm of the Luo family, they had slowly regained its foothold. Wen Yu sneered. Your brother cannot accept this. Why should the Luo family still live a carefree life? Luo Li has even hurt Feiya's heart in the Paramount a few days ago. Feiya had been treating Luo Li so well, but she had actually bullied Feiya. This time, even if we could not bring the Luo family down, we must stir up a conflict between the Luo family and the Manor Master. Ji Yue's birthday was a good chance. Ji Yuesha had never thrown Ji Yue a birthday party all these years. Hence, the Qin family did not have a chance to set the Luo family up. If the Luo family gifted Ji Yue poison on her birthday, Ji Yuesha would no doubt explode with rage since he cared for Ji Yue so much. But, what if we fail to frame the Luo family? Do you think that the Manor Master would think that the Luo family wants to harm them? They would think that someone has framed the Luo family. Qin Xiaoye's lips quivered as she took a few steps backward. Chapter 808. Keep out 2. Rest assured, we are going to replace the grade 6000 odds ginseng fruit that the Luo family is gifting to Ji Yue with violet leaf ginseng fruit, which looks similar to it. The violet leaf ginseng fruit is poisonous. One would die immediately after consuming it. However, we will not wipe out the Luo family. Wen Yu smiled faintly. Sponsored content remove ads. Seeing Qin Xiaoye's pale face, Wen Yu continued, I would task someone to explain to the people of Manor Master that the Luo family does not know spirit herb well and has bought the wrong spirit herb. The people of Manor Master would only think that Luo Fei is a fool. Qin Xiaoye pursed her lips tightly and did not say a word as Qin Xiaoye would marry Luo Fei. What would she get in return by stirring up a conflict between the Luo family and the Manor Master? Furthermore, she had never thought of avenging her father. If not for her father, she would not have gotten pregnant and still remained single for years. Xiaoye, think about this. If you don't do me a favor, I will tell Luo Fei about your miscarriage. He will dump you. Wen Yu walked up to Qin Xiaoye as she said with evilness in her voice. Sponsored content remove ads. Hearing this, color drained from Qin Xiaoye's face. She knew that Wen Yu was threatening her. The thing Wen Yu said was something that she wanted to hide at all costs. If someone knew this, her life was ruined and she would lose her chance at happiness. I was such a fool back then. I thought that nothing in this life counts but love. I have made a big mistake and I truly regret it. Why are you threatening me with that? Qin Xiaoye truly regretted the things that she had done back then. Not only did she lose her lover, her life was ruined. Sponsored content remove ads. She would never fall for one's physical appearance ever again. She would look into the difference in family backgrounds. She would only marry someone with equal social status in the future. Otherwise, her elder brother would never let her lover off easily. As a young lady of the Qin family, she must not marry to an underdog. Otherwise, she would ruin the reputation of the Qin family. Xiaoye, you are my sister-in-law. Naturally, I will not threaten you. I am just asking whether you are in or out. If you are out, don't blame me for being ruthless. Wen Yu held on to Qin Xiaoye's hand as she smiled gently. Her smile was no longer as evil as before. Qin Xiaoye closed her eyes slowly. Luo Fei was her last chance. She did not want to remain single for the rest of her life. Moreover, if someone knew about her miscarriage, she would no longer be able to stay in Tianshan Manor. Sponsored content remove ads. Alright, Imin. Sister-in-law, are you sure that you just want to stir up conflict between the Luo family and the Manor Master and would never put Luo Fei in trouble? Qin Xiaoye opened her eyes slowly, her face was ghastly pale. You said that the Manor Master is not a fool. He will not believe that Luo Fei wants to harm Ji Yue. He would only be mad at Luo Fei's foolishness. After all, if no one in the Manor Master notices that Ji Yue was poisoned, the Qin family would not sit back and do nothing. Wen Yu smiled. Alright, it's a deal, but you must promise me that you will never threaten me with this in the future. Qin Xiaoye clenched her fists. Sure, I promise. Wen Yu lowered her eyes to hide the wickedness in her eyes. Qin Xiaoye did not speak further and merely glanced at Wen Yu, strangely. Then, she walked, slowly, toward the garden behind her. Chapter 809. Not long after Qin Xiaoye left, A young master could be seen coming from behind when you before standing right at the place where Qin Xiaoye was standing earlier. Sponsored content remove ads. Did she agree? Qin Li's face was cold and filled with disdain. If Qin Xiaoye was not Qin Li's biological sister, she would never have admitted that the lady who had lost her chastity was his sister. The corner of Wen Yu's lips lifted. She was still staring in the direction which Qin Xiaoye had left. All right, I will find a way to stop the physicians from showing up at the feast. After pondering for a while, Qin Li said. By doing this, no one would notice that there was something wrong with the spirit herb. Will we get Xiaoye into trouble by doing this? Wen Yu asked, anxiously. This time, she was worried about Qin Xiaoye. Sponsored content remove ads. She is not part of the Luo family. Naturally, she would not be in trouble. No one would know that she was the one who changed the spirit herb, Qin Li said, nonchalantly. In fact, what he wanted to do was not to just stir up conflict between Luo Fei and Ji Yushe. All he wanted to do was wipe out the entire Luo family and take down the Manor Master. Well, how sure are you that Ji Yue will eat the spirit herb on the spot? After a while, Wen Yu asked. Leave that to me. However, even if Ji Yue does not eat it on the spot but later on, Ji Yushe will definitely know that Luo Fei was the one who has harmed Ji Yue. Ji Yue is Ji Yushe's everything. Ji Yushe would definitely lose his mind if something were to happen to Ji Yue. Perhaps, he might even take his own life. Qin Li sneered. Ji Yushe did not deserve to be the Manor Master of Tianshan Manor. Since Ji Yushe could helm Tianshan Manor by killing the former Manor Master, others could do the same to him. Perhaps Xiaoye truly thinks that you hate the Luo's family and you do this to avenge your father. Wen Yu smiled, faintly. Sponsored content remove ads. Hee. I am just making the Luo family a convenient scapegoat. Ji Yushe is not capable of helming the Tianshan Manor after all. Qin Li's lips curved into a sinister sneer. Previously, he did not do anything to Ji Yushe as he had not made a breakthrough. Even if he brought Ji Yushe down, someone else would be at the wheel. However, this time was different. Qin Li was the only one who deserved the Manor Master of Tianshan Manor. The night wore on. The chief manor was bustling with noise and excitement. Brilliant lights blazed all night. Countless spirit beasts could be seen at the gate of Chief Manor. All the influential officials who did not want to offend the Manor Master's command. Therefore, they stopped at the gate of Chief Manor and put their spirit beasts next to the gate. They were greeting each other with smiles on their faces. Sponsored content remove ads. Mu Ling pulled the reins and got off the green horse. Then, he put his arms around Qingyan's waist and carried her down the horse. Qingyang, be careful, don't fall down, Mu Ling said, softly. Qingyang smiled bashfully, buried herself in Mu Ling's embrace and got off the horse. Walking after both of them, Mu Huan furrowed her brows together with a look of haughty disdain. Suddenly, Mu Huan paused. Her cold gaze was fixed at a familiar figure not far away as her hands balled into fists. Why is that humble lady here? Huana, what's wrong? Noticing that something was wrong with Mu Huan, Qingyang turned her head around and asked. Nothing. Mu Huan was burning with fury, but she did not tell Qingyang anything. Moreover, she simply could not do anything to that lady even if she told Qingyang. Qingyang had always been treating Nanxian like her own son as she was acting generously. Apparently, that lady was the one who had hurt Mushi, rendering him bedbound until now. Chapter 8:10 Originally, Mu Ling had wanted to avenge Mushi in a fit of anger. However, Qingyang had stopped him because of Nanxian. Sponsored content remove ads. Did Mushi deserve the suffering? Who was Qingyan's son? Nanxian or Mushi? Qingyang knew why Mu Huan was infuriated. She glanced at Mu Huan helplessly and shook her head. Her own daughter was too impulsive and was lacking scheming skills. Mu Ling knew that Nanxian would never let go of Fengruching. Hence, he could not kill her. Moreover, the Mu family needed Nanxian. Mu Ling must not mess with Nanxian. Hence, Qingyang could not help but pretend to be generous. By doing this, Not only would Mu Ling feel bad for Mu Shi, he would hate Nanxian's lover. It would do Chen Qingyang good and not harm. Sponsored content remove ads. Why aren't you letting us in? Just as Chen Qingyang lost in thought, Mu Ling's furious voice spoke. She quickly regained her senses. There were 2 guards guarding the chief manor's gate with cold and stern faces. The manor master said that the Mu family has deceived everyone in this realm and has ruined his reputation. Hence, none of the people of the Mu family can attend the manor lady's birthday feast. Hearing this, Mu Ling's face turned crimson. Everyone around Mu Ling was dumbstruck after they had heard that. People who attended the feats were all influential and powerful officials. Now that all of them had witnessed the whole incident, what was going to happen to the Mu family's reputation? Sponsored content remove ads. Brother Ling. Chen Qingyang seemed rather flustered as she looked at Mu Ling. Go and tell the manor master that I am here today for the manor lady's birthday. It seemed that there have been some misunderstandings between the manor master and the Mu family. I am here to offer my apologies. Mu Ling's face darkened. This is the manor master's command. The manor master did not say that there were any misunderstandings between the chief manor and the Mu family. The Mu family has deceived the manor master. Hence, none of the people from the Mu family can step into the chief manor. The guard sneered, sarcastically. Mu Ling wanted to say something, but the people behind him were starting to get restless. He had no choice but to give way to the people behind him to get into the chief manor. Brother Ling, what can we do now? Sponsored content remove ads. Seeing the people bustling around the chief manor, Chen Qingyang bit her lower lip, her eyes filled with dejection. I don't know what Nanxian has done that has infuriated the manor master. This is about the Mu family's reputation. Now that everyone knows that the manor master has kept us out of the chief manor, they might laugh at us behind our backs. Qingyang is right. This unfilial Nanxian must have infuriated the people of the chief manor. Not only has he made the Mu family a scapegoat, he had ruined the Mu family's reputation. This unfilial son has arrived at the Mu family for his due. Mu Ling clenched his fists tightly. Mother, Jiyusha does not deserve to be the manor master after all. Why should we fawn on him? The Mu family is not inferior. Moreover, my master is with us. Mu Huan smiled, sarcastically. Mu Huan would never fawn on anyone. Although the Grandmaster Hai Rong had always lived by himself and had not gained a foothold in this realm, his strength was really something. Huana, Chen Qingyang panicked and warned hastily. You must not say this again in the future as it might reach the manor master's ears. Your master has always been living a carefree life, and free from any desire for fame and wealth. He has spent his whole life studying the art of healing. Even if he was omnipotent, he is not capable of helping the Mu family. Do you understand? Chapter 8:11. Keep out v. Moreover, Grandmaster Hai Rong hated anyone who did anything by misusing his name the most. Sponsored content remove ads. Therefore, there was no exception for Huana to be forgiven even though she was his disciple. Making Huana Hai Rong's disciple was merely adding another protection to her, as this would prevent others from looking down on the Mu family. However, that would not bring any benefit to the Mu family. Mu Ling harumphed coldly as his eyes darkened. He stroked his sleeves and walked toward the moonlight. Before he left, he turned and looked at the brightly lit dazzling chief manor as his eyes were deeply filled with grudges. Xiao Qing, what happened? Sponsored content remove ads. Somewhere inside the chief manor, Luo Li turned her head and looked at the young girl who stood beside her. Her eyes seemed blanked. Feng Ruqing drew her eyes back from the main door as the corners of her lips lifted slightly. Nothing, I have just watched a drama. She shook her head. Oh. Luo Li said nothing more as her face brightened into a broad smile. Suddenly, she noticed Feng Ruqing was staring at something. She followed her line of vision and saw a young man standing in the moonlight not far away. The young man was tall, handsome, and his eyes were gentle. Just like the melting snow, his face seemed cold, but also at the same time, exuded a sense of the warmth of sunlight. Qing, as usual, with a warm smile on his face, The young man's voice was bright and clear as the person who stood in front of him was the sunshine in his heart that had driven all his gloomy feelings away. Sponsored Content Remove Ads. Chenna, you're here too? Yeah, I'm here because I know you would be here too. Chenna. A soft and gentle voice came from behind Qin Chen. Qin Chen's warm smile completely faded as soon as he heard the voice. An obvious impatience and coldness dawned on his face as he frowned a little. Qin Fei slowly approached Qin Chen with the support of her servant. With a light smile, she turned to look at Luo Li with her bright eyes. Liar, you're here, too? Sponsored Content Remove Ads. Luo Li humphed and did not bother to pay attention to Qin Fei. Qin Fei's face stiffened as she seemed to be forcing a smile on the corners of her lips. She then turned to look at Feng Ruqing again. Lady, I didn't expect to meet you again that soon. You had left in a hurry when we were in Heaven Eye last time, and I hadn't even had the time to learn your name. I'm Qin Fei, Luo Li's best friend and Qin Chen's elder sister. She seemed to be declaring her higher status even though her voice was still gentle. After all, Luo Li had always been trusting her after all those years. Would their feelings for each other fade away that easily? Luo Li was just slightly pissed off that they would make up after a while. Qin Fei, enough. Luo Li looked cold. You keep on saying that I'm your best friend, but have you ever treated me like your friend? All these years, you've been nagging at me as if you're the senior. For all the wrongs I've suffered because of you, is it not enough? Xiaoqing's right, a true friend will never let you have a chip on your shoulder. You don't deserve to be my friend. Suddenly, Qin Fei's face paled as she stared at Luo Li in shock. She felt she was staggering as she could not stand on her feet properly. Liar, did you just say that? I haven't been treating you like a friend. Qin Fei closed her eyes as the agony got more and more intense. If she had not treated Liar as her friend, she would not have asked Liar to be tolerant of the others. No matter what dispute had Luo Li got into, she would only ask Luo Li to concede. That was because she understood that Luo Li would never get mad at her. In contrast, Luo Li would act differently to others. She was afraid that their friendship would end if she could not even maintain their friendship superficially. Chapter 8:12. If they were not close and familiar enough with each other, would she ever do this? Sponsored Content Remove Ads. Luo Li pursed her lips and thought, perhaps she was blinded before to feel that Qin Fei was quite a good friend. Now she had the feeling as if she had fed and brought up a dog. Luo Li, Feng Ruqing's voice was sluggish as she spoke lazily that night. I'm hungry, let's find a place and rest. Okay. Luo Li then turned back. Indeed, a true friend should be someone like Xiaoqing. Not someone who always asks me to be tolerant of others. Sponsored Content Remove Ads. Stop right there. Just as Luo Li stood up and wanted to leave, the little servant next to Qin Fei strode forward and said angrily, Lady Luo, our lady has been pouring her heart out to you but you're treating her like this. It's ridiculous as our lady has always been looking after you. Liu Xia. Qin Fei's face was pale as she growled. Stop your nonsense. It was chief manner here. If she really came to blows with Luo Li, it would be seriously harmful to the Qin's family reputation. She would never be tolerant of a servant behaving in such an unbridled way. Miss, feeling wronged, Liu Xia pursed her lips and turned to look at Qin Fei. It is apparent that it was Lady Luo who has gone too far, and also the woman near Lady Luo. We don't even know her identity as she's merely a nobody who comes from a low-status family. Without any prior notice, Lady Luo had suddenly brought her into the chief manor, and that would definitely offend the chief manor's lady. Qin Fei looked terrified as soon as she thought of this. Sponsored Content Remove Ads. She would not care much if Feng Ruqing was Luo Li's little servant. However, she was a stranger who came from nowhere as Luo Li had suddenly brought her into the manor, which would definitely stir up trouble in the Luo family. Moreover, Gue was quite a short-tempered person. If she got angry and provoked Luo Li might not be able to stay in Tianshan Manor, even if she wished to. Luo Li, Qin Fei frowned. As she felt like speaking in a condescending tone, the young man next to her had already vanished when she wanted to teach him a lesson. The youth was already in front of the servant when she regained her composure. A strong wind swept under his sleeves and immediately sent that girl flying away. Bang! Sponsored content remove ads. Suddenly, she landed in the crowd, and the noise around the chief manor subsided. It was so quiet that the sound of a falling needle could be heard. The crowd stared at the servant who had fallen to the ground, surprised. Then, they lifted their heads, and their eyes landed on the young man's handsome face in shock. Chenna, you, Qin Fei's pretty eyes widened as she stared at Qin Chen in disbelief. Why? Why did Chenna suddenly hit and teach her servant a lesson? Liu Xia was her servant. If he wanted to beat a dog, he should have been aware of the dog's owner too, much less the countless number of powerful forces and people around here. How could she keep her reputation after this incident? The young man's robe was bathed in the cold moonlight. Looking dull, he stomped on her mouth mercilessly. It was so painful that Liu Xia's tears almost broke free. Looking pitiful as her pleading eyes were flooded with tears, she could not even make a sound when she looked at Qin Fei. Qin Fei looked slightly pale. Qina, what on earth are you doing? Liu Xia, she's my servant, and I know you're fond of Lyre. If Liu Xia has said anything wrong, I'll apologize on her behalf. Now, let go of her. Qin Chen frowned a little as he glared coldly at Qin Fei. That glare was piercing cold, enough to make Qin Fei tremble a little, which Qin Fei had never seen before. Chapter 8:13 I have nothing to do with Luo Li. Sponsored content remove ads. Qin Fei looked surprised at first before she sighed in relief. She had no idea as to why he had turned into such a person too. However, I do not like you. He still sounded indifferent when he spoke again, without leaving any leeway. Indeed, Luo Li had nothing to do with him. The only thing was that Luo Li was the person whom Qingqing liked. He would regard anyone who Qingqing liked as a friend. As for now, anyone who humiliates Qingqiujing was the only thing that he forbade. Qin Fei looked ghastly pale as he lifted his head in surprise and stared at the youth before her. I'm your sister. Sponsored content remove ads. The youth remained silent with his lips pursed. He looked cold and heartless. Qin Chen. A cold sneer came from the back. In the blink of an eye, Luo Fei and Qin Xiaoye showed up hand in hand. It was loving sight filled affectionate feelings. Only that Qin Xiaoye's face was filled with an ironic smile at the moment. It's hard to imagine that you have already been bullying Fei when she has just recently left home. Have you forgotten that if it weren't because of the Qin family, you would still be a nobody who scraps for food from the streets? Would you have been able to enjoy such a luxurious life now? Upon hearing those words, the crowd who had laughed at the Qin family was rendered silenced again. The Qin family had brought up Qin Chen, who was abandoned by his parents and had nearly lost his life in the wild. Sponsored content remove ads. It was the Qin family that had adopted him and brought him up out of kindness. They had provided him the precious rank and honor as well as a luxurious life for him to live. However, this Qin family's adopted son was too harsh on the Qin family's daughter. He was really a white-eyed wolf. Qin Chen has really gone too far this time. I've heard that the Qin family has brought him up, treating him like their own son. Qin Fei has been taking good care of him since he was young. It's really unexpected he would be doing this. He's being rude to his own sister just because of these two women. If a white-eyed wolf were in my house, I would have already beaten him to death long ago. The Qin family has helped him survive and has also provided him a life. Any human would have been grateful for that. Qin Chen, this is the first time I've ever encountered such a person in my life. Bang! Vines had already slowly crawled up to his legs when he was enjoying this talk the most. Sponsored content remove ads. Suddenly, the vines were wrapped around his body. Then, the vines picked him up and violently threw him away. Everyone stopped talking and subconsciously looked in the direction where the vines came from. The crowd clearly noticed that those vines were spread out beneath Feng Ruking's feet. Just like tentacles, the vines were moving in the night wind. Xiao Qing Luo Li, who stood nearest to Feng Ruqing, naturally felt the pressure around her. She turned around with difficulty and stared at the young lady before her. The young girl looked as calm as water. However, she could feel a brewing storm beneath the calmness. "Chenna, come here." The young girl finally spoke. Qin Chen walked to Feng Ruching obediently and stood next to her. It was the first time Qin Fei saw Qin Chen acting like that. She was shaken when she subconsciously looked at Feng Ruching's face. "Why are you keeping silent when other people are scolding you?" Feng Ruching asked, calmly. Qin Chen was dazed. He never liked to defend himself and explain a single sentence to others, as their words could never hurt him. He did not care about these. What he cared about was only her. "In the future, fight back whoever that bullies you. My person is never meant to be bullied by others. Nobody can ever bully my people." Chapter 814, Evening Feast 3. Chenna had always been a soft-hearted person. Sponsored content remove ads. If the Qin family had been really treating him nicely, he would never be treating Qin Fei like that. It was true that he had suffered a lot of grievances and had never spoken about any of it, much less say a sentence to her. It really pissed her off and broke her heart, seeing Qin Chen like that. "Okay." The youth beamed. The smile was as bright as the sun. Sponsored content remove ads. It was as if the sky had suddenly cleared up, and even the moonlight looked brighter than before. Like a needle, his smile pierced deeply into Qin Fei's heart. She clenched on her fists tightly as she looked at Qin Chen, palely. Pain and feelings of grief spread inside her heart, making her seem even more paler than usual, as pale as snow. No doubt she was the closest person to Qin Chen in this world. However, why would he smile so brightly at a woman who was nothing? Qin Fei gently closed her eyes and slowly reopened it after a while. No matter what, Chenna would still care for her as his sister. Or else, he would not have returned willingly to be her drug primer, just to help her enter the Mu family and approach that seemingly divine man. Sponsored content remove ads. Feng Ruching looked around and said, "This is the so-called Tianshan manor. Nothing special. Chenna was abandoned by his parents. Ridiculous. That's only the one-sided words of Qin family, but it has already made the whole world believe without a shadow of a doubt." Qin Xiaoye stiffened a little as she sneered, if it weren't because of his poor family background, why would the Qin family adopt him when the Qin family is so powerful? "I bet only the Qin family know the answer. What I know is only that I will never allow anyone to bully Chenna." Qin Chen seemed docile. He had never cared about anyone's words all these years. To be protected by her, it felt so good. Sponsored content remove ads. It was as if a hint of current flowed in his heart, warming it up. "Luo Fei." Qin Xiaoye's face was almost contorted as she turned to look at Luo Fei. "Liar has been bewitched by this woman. Now, they are ganging up to bully Fei, and don't you know Fei's character well enough? She will always be tolerant of everything and bear all the grievances alone whenever she feels wronged. Her aunt, how could I bear to see her suffer like that?" Luo Fei frowned a little. This little girl was aggressive and disagreeable enough. Moreover, the Qin family had provided Qin Chen a home, but Qin Chen had treated Fei in such a way. It was indeed his fault too. Perhaps, only that little girl was capable of pinning the blame on others and defending Qin Chen by saying he was innocent. However, after all the interrogations, Luo Fei could not bring himself to speak as soon as he saw Luo Li's cold face. He could only heave a soft sigh. "Liar, haven't you always been close to Fei? Perhaps there are some misunderstandings since Fei is naive in nature and would never bewitch others. Both of you should talk it out if there have been any misunderstandings." At first, Luo Li thought she was already fully disappointed with Luo Fei. However, her heart turned completely cold as soon as she heard his words. The corners of her lips lifted into a scornful smile as she said coldly, "Compared to bewitching people's mind, our manor lady Xiao Qing can never do better than the Qin Xiaoye who stays with you. She has already drugged you by making you not know right from wrong and good from evil." "Liar." Luo Fei slightly frowned. "I'm doing this for your own good. You're my daughter, how can I not love you? I just don't want to see you and Fei in such a fight. The whole Tianshan manor knows well that how close both of you were. That was right. They were really close before, and therefore, the spirit herbs were too good to be eaten as she had kept all of it and shared it with Faya. Chapter 8:15. However, as for Qin Faya, she had taken everything for granted and had never thought of sharing anything with her. Sponsored content remove ads. That was actually fine. However, all the people from Tianshan Manor were saying how Qin Faya was being good to her as she had been treating her with a genuine heart. If she ever made Qin Faya sad, even just a little, it would definitely be her fault. Now, even for her father thought in that way too. Xiao Qing, I feel like going back now. Luo Li pursed her lips tightly as she held back her tears. I don't like any of the people here, I want to leave. Feng Ruqing turned around and glanced at the chief manor's courtyard. Then, she turned back eventually. Okay, let's go. Sponsored content remove ads. In her mind, Qing Han's anxious voice rang up as soon as she finished speaking. Mother, I don't want to go back. The thing is summoning me, I know already the exact location now. Feng Ruqing's eyes narrowed as she communicated with Qing Han in her mind. Qing Han, I will think of another way to get back to here. I have to send Luo Li back now, I will help you get the things you want. That was definitely an excellent opportunity for her. However, that was not the one and only chance. She had also heard that the manor lady of the chief manor was a 250 pounds fatty too. If she wanted to sneak into the chief manor, she could make use of other chances. It was not necessary to make Luo Li sad by staying here. Okay, Qing Han sounded wronged. Sponsored content remove ads. How could one think that she was not aware that her mother was fond of beauty? She would come again in the worst scenario. Good children can never disobey their mother's words. Liar. A twinge of anxiety flashed through Luo Fei's face. Where are you going? I just don't want you to regret it. So I am trying to convince you to make up with Faya. Why are you not listening to me? Feng Ruqing could obviously feel that Luo Li's palm was getting colder. Luo Fei, who was a father of a daughter, had never asked what grievances his own daughter had gone through but only wanted to speak for Qin Faya. Sponsored content remove ads. Also, he had never considered if she really needed his self-righteous kindness. Luo Li. Feng Ruqing stopped walking. Wait for a moment. Luo Li was shocked as she looked at Feng Ruqing, blankly. Feng Ruqing let go of Luo Li's hand and calmly turned to look at Luo Fei. If you're not Luo Li's father, I would have already beaten you just now. Luo Fei said nothing. What an arrogant little girl. The first he ever met in his life. You keep trying to make Luo Li and Qin Faya make up. That's fine, but do you know that, back in Heaven Qin Xiaoye had deliberately hurt Luo Li with boiling hot water. It was Qin Faya who had blocked her on her way out as she was feeling so anxious. She stopped her from leaving and instead, tried to be a peacemaker, demanding Luo Li to forgive Qin Xiaoye. Did you even know that she was wounded badly by the hot water? I had already dressed the wound before she returned to the Luo family. The wound was much more terrible before that. Don't tell me that Qin Faya was not aware of her wound, which is ridiculous. If she really cares for her, how could she not be aware of her agony? Luo Fei was speechless and stunned. Then, he turned to look at Qin Xiaoye. Xiaoye had never told him that Qin Faya was present that day. Much less about Qin Faya dragging Luo Li back and preventing her from healing her wound. Laya was nursed in luxury ever since she was born. How pain she must have been in then. All these years, the grievances she has gone through are already enough. Feng Ruqing slowly closed in. It's apparent that she was not always the one who had done wrong. Yet, Qin Faya had always demanded her to be tolerant of others. If others wished for something, Laya must give it to them. For what and why? Everybody knows that Qin Faya is a good person, but they didn't know that she's only making use of Luo Li to be in such a position. Chapter 8:16. Do it on your own if you wish to be the good guy. Sponsored content remove ads. What makes you think that you could make use of Luo Li to make the others think that you are the honorable one? You have received a good reputation by making use of her. However, You are hurting her recklessly and have never cared if she was feeling all right. Luo Fei's face stiffened more. All he knew was that whenever he bought something for Luo Li, the thing would be gone after he went out and come back to her again. There was even once when Luo Li's mother's things were almost taken away by others, and it was he who had helped to get them back. However, Luo Li had never told him before that Qin Fei was involved in this matter. How else could he have been aware of this? Sponsored Content Remove Ads. Liar, you, how come you have said nothing about it? If you have told me, things would not have turned out this way. Feng Ruqing sneered and said, if it were my father, he wouldn't have questioned me like this after he has found out the truth. Instead, he would only feel pity, angry at the person who has hurt me, and also glad that I have finally found out the true colors of a person. You, on the other hand, even though I have told you about her difficulties, your first reaction is to question her for not telling you first. Luo Fei looked even more annoyed as he clenched his fists tightly and turned to glare at Qin Xiaoye. Qin Xiaoye looked shocked as she bit on her lip tightly. With a malicious look, she stared at Feng Ruqing, furiously. What an interfering busybody. Do they envy me for living a good life? Especially Luo Li, that fellow, who lived with them but was secretly helping outsiders. After all, she was still her stepmother, and Fei was her good old friend of many years. How could she allow others to spew nonsense about her? Xiao Qing. Sponsored Content Remove Ads. Luo Li put on a smile. That was the first time Luo Li had smiled since the incident of being burnt by the hot water in front of Luo Fei. However, she was smiling at the others. Thank you. She walked in front of Feng Ruqing and gently held her hand. In this world, besides her grandmother and little fox, Xiao Qing was the first person who had protected her no matter what. She would remember the warmth in her heart. Let's go. With a gentle smile, Feng Ruqing caressed Luo Li's head while she spoke, softly. Okay. Xiao Qing, is your father lacking daughters? What if I am to be his daughter? I'm very docile and obedient, it's true. Sponsored Content Remove Ads. Sure, I'll inform him, and since he has always been fond of daughters, he will definitely agree since you're such a lovely girl. Luo Fei was speechless as his face darkened. Did this little girl really want to abandon him? She had asked to be others' daughter in front of him. Did she treat him like he was nothing to her? Liar, Luo Fei was flooded with the sense of regret and guilt when a cold and stern voice suddenly spoke from behind him just as he wanted to speak. I heard that somebody was deliberately hurting people in my manor just now. Tonight is my daughter's birthday. Who dares to not respect us and hurt others in this place? Not far away, Jiyusha had brought a troop of imperial guards along and was slowly advancing toward them. Feng Ruqing and Luo Li were stopped from leaving that place. The imperial guards suddenly rushed forward and surrounded everyone. They were so closely surrounded that it was impossible to break out from that ambush. Qin Chen stood beside Feng Ruqing quietly as he glared coldly at all the imperial guards. Something cold flashed in his eyes. Manor Master, it's that woman. She's the one who has beaten me for no reason. The middle-aged man who was thrown away by Feng Ruqing and was holding his head in pain stared at Feng Ruqing, angrily. Nobody dared to start a fight within the chief manor. Therefore, he did not fight back even though he was beaten. Instead, he quickly went to Manor Master and reported what Feng Ruqing had done to the Manor Master. Chapter 8:17. Evening Feast 6. This arrogant girl was so dead this time. Sponsored Content Remove Ads. Chenna, come here, quickly, Qin Fei said, hurriedly, as her face changed. She was relieved that Feng Ruqing had gotten into trouble with the chief manor. At least, someone could teach this unruly girl a lesson. To Qin Fei, Qin Chen was not just her younger brother, he was also her drug primer. She did not want Qin Chen to get into trouble with the chief manor just because of a woman. Feng Ruqing turned and looked at Jiyusha, calmly. Jiyusha was also looking at the girl in front of him. This girl was neither humble nor arrogant, but she was calm and confident. This has made her a likable person. Sponsored Content Remove Ads. But today was Yi's birthday. Would it not be embarrassing for Yi if there were any chaos in the chief manor? Lady. Ji smiled a little. If you have any resentment against these people, you can go outside to resolve it. The chief manor is not a place where you can create troubles. What about this? You can go outside and fight it out. After you are done, you can come back. The middle-aged man who was still complaining was speechless. Why did the ending seem off? Someone was causing trouble at young Lady Gus' birthday feast. Should the manor master not beat her up and drive her out by now? Why did he allow them to go outside to fight it out? At this moment, the middle-aged man had suddenly forgotten that Ji was not just an ordinary manor master. He was a ruthless man who had killed the former manor master just because he was dissatisfied with him. He had even replaced the former manor master and became one himself. Manor master. Qin Xiaoye glanced, proudly, at Feng Ruqing and then turned to look at Ji. I suggest that it would be better to drive her out of Tianshan Manor to prevent my manor's liar from being misled by her. Manor master should know young Lady Gus' temper the best. If she learns that someone is causing trouble during her birthday, she will be furious. Ji suddenly came to his senses and stared at Feng Ruqing with his vigilant eyes when Ji was mentioned. Sponsored content remove ads. He had almost forgotten that his daughter disliked men now. She liked women. This birthday feast was originally organized to find a good husband for Yi. But this girl was so pretty, what if his little devil had a crush on her? No, absolutely not. Ji said, solemnly, I agree with young Lady Qin's words. Lady, I can only ask you to leave the chief manor. It seemed a little too bad to drive her out of Tianshan Manor since she did not make any mistakes. But he must not let any beautiful girl hang around Yi, lest Yi would be more certain in loving women. Sponsored content remove ads. Father. Ji body stiffened when he suddenly heard the angry voice. Qin Xiaoye's smile became more complacent. She had already said that Ji would definitely be angry earlier. Now, this humble girl could not leave even if she wanted to. After thinking about this, Qin Xiaoye turned and looked in the direction where the voice had come from. Then, her eyes widened as she was stunned. The fat girl that she had expected did not appear. Instead, a slim girl came forward. This girl was beautiful and lovely. She was no worse than Faya. Now, she walked over like a light breeze. Her beautiful face was filled with anger. The person next to Ji said, dumbfoundedly, Manor Master, do you have an illegitimate daughter? This lady is bullshit. Ji yelled, angrily. She is my only precious daughter. Everyone was shocked. They could not recover from the shock for a long while. His precious daughter. Was this girl Ji? I'm sorry, I can't recognize people's faces well. You have become too beautiful after you have completely lost weight. Ji, who was still sobbing in tears, suddenly smiled, shyly, after hearing Feng Ruqing's words. Xiao Qing had praised her. Xiao Qing must not have praised Xiao Yin like this. Was she, then, the first woman who was praised by Xiao Qing? Just thinking about it made her happy. Qin Chen glanced at Ji and turned toward Feng Ruqing. Qing, I have guessed it correctly. You really did seduce her. Luo Li lifted her head instantly and stared at Feng Ruqing, unblinkingly. Among the people who were present there, only she could understand the meaning of Qin Chen's words. Did both Nanxian's fiancés become his love rivals in the end? Did Feng Ruqing really want to piss Ji off? Chapter 8:19. Feng Ruqing was silent for a while. If I say I'm innocent, will you believe me? Sponsored content remove ads. It was really not her fault that Nanxian's reputation was ruined. She was the most innocent person. The smile on Qin Xiaoye's face stiffened before it disappeared. Qin Faya was also staring blankly at Feng Ruqing and Ji for a long time. She seemed to be immersed in her thoughts. The middle-aged man who was still complaining just now was so scared that he almost fainted. Ji could not bear with them. He was so furious. Just as he wanted to speak, Ji quickly glared at him. He was so afraid that he could not make any sound. He could only let Yi do what she wanted to do because his little devil liked her very much. Sponsored content remove ads. But his gaze on Feng Ruqing grew more resentful, as if his favorite thing had been snatched by her. Father, did you just say that you wanted to drive Xiaoqing out? Ji suddenly remembered Ji Yusha's words and asked, angrily. Ji Yusha's face changed. No, that's impossible, I didn't. He would never admit it. I don't care. I heard you say so myself. Ji turned her head angrily. If you want to drive her away, I'll go with her. Ji Yusha was about to cry. One little devil, what do you want? Sponsored content remove ads. Okay, I admit that I am wrong. Can't you show some respect to your father in front of this person? Little devil, you have really heard it wrongly. I told the person who was beaten up by Xiaoqing to leave Tianshan Manor. Ji Yusha's face darkened. He turned to the guard behind him and sternly commanded. What are you still doing? Quickly get these people who are causing trouble out now. The middle-aged man was terrified. He did not dare to argue for himself. He feared that Ji might become angrier. Ji then smiled with satisfaction before she snorted twice. It is impossible that it was Xiaoqing's fault. How could she make mistakes? These people are unforgivable since they dared to bully Xiaoqing in my house. However, you have apologized sincerely. So, I won't blame you for what you have done. Ji Yusha was relieved. His little devil's temper was uncontrollable. Sponsored content remove ads. Fortunately, the little devil had only argued with him. She did not throw and smash things everywhere as she had done before. So, the chief manor could avoid unnecessary damage. However, he could not stand scolding and beating this little devil. What else could he do? He could only spoil her and let her do what she wanted to do. Xiaoqing. Ji turned around and looked at Feng Ruqing. Do you remember me and Xiao Yin whom you have left in Liyun Kingdom? Feng Ruqing was speechless. She remembered Xiao Yin, but Ji had changed drastically. Therefore, she could not immediately recognize Ji. You really have a sweetheart out there and have forgotten about us. Ji cried with grievances. But it doesn't matter. I have become prettier now, you will always remember me, now. 1 inch actually. Feng Ruqing felt sorry for Ji. She caressed Ji's head. You were also very cute when you are fat. Ji was even sadder after Feng Ruqing said that. She was not wrong. The person whom Xiaoqing really liked was when she was the 250 pounds beauty. She could not become fat in such a short time. Ji was still following Ji Huan. He only looked up after hearing Feng Ruqing's words. Chapter 820. Evening Feast 9. She did not dislike the manor lady when she was obese. She was pretty and had a good temper. On top of that, this lady seemed to be that Lady Xiaoqing whom the manor master had mentioned. Sponsored content remove ads. The last request that was made by the manor master was to be able to talk about Lady Xiaoqing with the manor lady. So, if she talked about herself, it was fine, right? Was that why the manor master had set so many unreasonable demands just for this lady? Manor master. Ji pondered for a moment. You have asked me to find a good husband for the young lady. I have found it now. I think this girl is quite good. Although they are both women, there is nothing wrong, so, get out. Ji shouted angrily. His baby girl was interested in women. And this jerk still dared to bring that up. Sponsored content remove ads. Did he want the manor master to have no descendants? Xiaoqing, today is my birthday. Have you brought me any gifts? Ji blinked. She was obviously anticipating Feng Ruqing's present. All eyes were on Feng Ruqing. Qin Xiaoye sneered and said, Young lady Ji, this maiden is from an ordinary family. Wouldn't it be embarrassing for her to reveal her gift in the public? However, she should take out the gift first since young lady Ji has mentioned it. Lady Qin. Ji Yusha's face was cold. He glanced at Xiaoye coldly. Whatever my daughter does is none of your business. You should just mind your own business. Otherwise, There is no place for you in this Tianshan manor. Qin Xiaoye seemed to look awful. She had done it out of kindness. Who would have known that the manor master was so protective of his daughter? Luo Fei could not compare to him. Xiaoye. Luo Fei was a little bit upset. He slightly frowned. You don't have to talk much, just stand quietly. Sponsored content remove ads. Qin Xiaoye was dissatisfied. She knew that Ji Yusha's status was unshakable. She had to unwillingly stand aside and glare at Feng Ruqing, resentfully. Qin Fei was not as talkative as Qin Xiaoye. She still knew what to say on what occasion. But when she saw that Feng Ruqing and Ji Yue were so close, she was very unhappy and there was no trace of blood on her face. Ji Yue's temper was already bad, but Qin Xiaoye still dared to teach her a lesson. She had almost stood up angrily. Fortunately, Feng Ruqing had pulled her back down. Since it is your birthday today, we can just ignore these people at the feast. But I really did not prepare your birthday gift. Well, I can give you one now. Do you have any paper and a writing brush? Yes. Ji Yue was full of joy. Sponsored content remove ads. She liked everything that was given by Feng Ruqing. Therefore, Ji Yue immediately asked a maid to get the ink, a writing brush, and paper from the study room. Feng Ruqing held the paper in her hand and soaked the writing brush in the ink. She then wrote down a few lines and handed the paper to Ji Yue. This is your birthday gift. Ji Yue was very excited. She quickly accepted the paper. She was holding the paper carefully since the ink on the paper had not dried. The other people saw that Feng Ruqing had only written a few lines to Ji Yue as her gift. Even if the handwriting was very nice, such a gift was too shabby. Only Luo Li, who was standing beside Feng Ruqing, leaned over and saw a few words at a glance. Xiao Qing wrote spirit herb on the paper. Why did she write spirit herb? She was very confused. Suddenly, she thought of the spirit herbal dish recipe that Feng Ruqing had given to her grandmother. Chapter 821. It was said that she had gotten the recipe from Paramount. Maybe, this one too? Sponsored content remove ads. Although everyone was scornful toward Feng Ruqing's gift, Ji Yue still held the blank paper in her hand and smiled brightly. Xiao Qing, the gift you have given me is too precious. I must give you something, too. You can take whatever you like from my house, you can even take my father away. 1-inch fact, what Ji Yue had said was not wrong. She had used many spirit herbs in exchange to lose weight. Besides, Feng Ruqing had given her the recipe and asked for nothing in return. Although Ji Yue did not know what the recipe was useful for, she still understood the value of a herbal dish recipe. It was too valuable. She felt guilty that the gift was so valuable. Sponsored content remove ads. Feng Ruqing tilted her head and stared blankly at Ji Yusha. She grinned. Your father is too old. Although my father is old, there are often young girls who throw themselves at him. In the meantime, you can allow him to go out to seduce young and beautiful girls. After that, you can take them all for yourselves behind him. Wouldn't it be like you are in a harem of 3,000 beauties? However, Xiao Yin and I must be the main ones. 2-inch, if so, would the state preceptor not go crazy? It was scary to think about it. Ji Yusha's face was very dark. Was he such a bastard that would seduce young girls in his daughter's eyes? Sponsored content remove ads. When had he done that? Why did he himself not know about it? Moreover, his daughter not only did not hesitate to give him away to please the girl, but she also wanted him to manage the harem for the girl. Actually, Ji Yue had her own reasons for doing so. Even though she and Xiao Yin added up together, they were still not as good as Nanxian. So, it would be better to find more girls to compete with Nanxian. She thought that the harem of 3,000 beauties should be able to compete with Nanxian. Then they could have their places next to Xiao Qing. Let's go. Ji Yue held Feng Ruqing's hand with a bright smile on her face. Those men who had once looked down on her were heartbroken and could not stop looking at Ji Yue. Sponsored content remove ads. Wait. Qin Xiaoye gritted her teeth. She talked to Feng Ruching sarcastically this time. Lady Feng, young Lady Jiyu likes you so much, but you have only selfishly written her a few lines. No matter how beautiful your handwriting is, you are showing no respect to the manor master. Who said that? Jiyu rolled her eyes toward Qin Xiaoye. Xiao Qing's handwriting is obviously ugly, but it is priceless. People like you who don't know how to appreciate the true value of things will never understand how valuable the paper is. Xiao Qing had given her the herbal dish recipe because she trusted Jiyu. She could not betray Xiao Qing. Even so, Jiyu was so angry when she heard someone slandering Feng Ruching. Qin Xiaoye's face stiffened. She let out a short but sharp laugh. Young Lady Jiyu, shut up. Jiyu sneered, you keep criticizing my manners. Xiao Qing small gift. When have you ever shown your respect to the chief manor? No matter how expensive the things that you have sent from the Qin family are, those things are worthless in my eyes. Qin Xiaoye did not expect that just by casually questioning Xiao Qing about the gift would cause so much trouble. Neither did she expect that someone would dare to not let her have her way in such a way in the chief manor. Qin Xiaoye pushed Luo Fei quite hard. Luo Fei. This guy. Was he still a man? She was being treated like this, yet that man had not even said a word. Luo Fei frowned a little. Xiaoye, this is the chief manor. You really shouldn't talk too much. Moreover, you still haven't explained to me whether Qin Fei had really treated Lyre like this. Chapter 822. Qin Xiaoye pursed her lip tightly. Sponsored content remove ads. Luo Fei, since you are treating me like that, don't blame me for doing this to you. If your Luo family is in trouble, only then will you know that I'm the only one who will not abandon you. She suddenly saw Qin Li and Wen Yu walking into the crowd from the back. Wen Yu signaled her with a wink. She then calmed down and smiled. Young Lady Jiyu, I'm sorry that I have offended you just now. My manners Luo Fei has gone to many places to look for your birthday gift. He has brought you the 1,000 odds ginseng fruit. Although young Lady Jiyu has become more beautiful now, women still don't mind to be more beautiful. Qin Xiaoye's fake smile made Luo Li felt restless and uncomfortable. Sponsored content remove ads. 1,000 odds ginseng fruit. Isn't it a grade 6 spirit fruit? This time, the Luo family has spent a lot of money on it. After all, the relationship between the Luo family and the chief manor is not that bad. This is the first birthday feast for young Lady Jiyu, so naturally, the gift is not that great. Compared to the girl who had just casually written down a few lines, the Luo family's gift is more valuable. Everyone was whispering about it. Some ladies were so envious of Jiyu. Some of the spirit herbs could only advance to higher grades when they had reached a certain age or had absorbed enough spiritual qi. The grade of the spirit herbs was also divided according to this, not by the degree of rarity. Sponsored content remove ads. Therefore, there are spirit herbs in each grade that were extremely rare. 1,000 odds ginseng fruit was also one of them. It was certainly difficult for the Luo family to get their hands on the 1,000 odds ginseng fruit. So, it was very valuable. Luo Fei initially did not want to take out the spirit herb before the birthday feast. However, since Qin Xiaoye had mentioned about it, he did not want to embarrass Xiaoye in the public even if he was very dissatisfied. He could only pass the box to the guard next to him. After handing over the box, he glared at Qin Xiaoye and frowned a little. He felt distressed. Xiaoye, what is up with you today? It was as if she had changed into another person. She was no longer the person whom Luo Fei was familiar with. Sponsored content remove ads. Qin Xiaoye frowned, coldly. Luo Fei, you just need to know that I'm the only one who will not abandon you in this world. Luo Li was a very ungrateful person. If anything happened to the Luo family, she would definitely run away. Only she, Qin Xiaoye, would stay. She wanted to use this incident to make Luo Fei recognize this. The guard held the box carefully and walked toward Jiyu Shi. Jiyu Shi saw that Jiyu refused to accept the gift. He could not help but sigh and keep the gift for Jiyu. All right, the feast is about to begin, you all may come in now. He was holding the box and wanted to leave. Suddenly, Qin Xiaoye spoke again. Manner Master, don't you want to take a look at the spirit herb? Ji Yusha's face darkened. He looked at Luo Fei, coldly. Luo Fei was not an insightful person. How did he have a crush on this woman from the Qin family? This woman was only causing him troubles all day long. Xiaoye. Luo Fei was angry. He lowered his voice and reprimanded. That's enough. Qin Xiaoye smiled and ignored Luo Fei. Luo Fei, you have prepared this gift for so long. I have never seen it with my own eyes. I just want to grab this opportunity to look at the spirit herb. Other people would also want to see this 1000 odds ginseng fruit, too. Tianshan Manor was rich with spirit herbs. If it was only a grade 6 spirit herb, he had seen it before. But this was the 1000 odds ginseng fruit, which was extremely rare. Chapter 8:23, Evening Feast 12. Even though many people knew how the 1000 odds ginseng fruit looked like, they had never seen it with their own eyes. Hence, everyone present was burning with curiosity. Sponsored Content Remove Ads. Ji Yusha was growing impatient. This time, it was not merely about Luo Fei's reputation, it was his daughter's birthday. He did not want to mess it up. More importantly, he wanted to know what Qin Xiaoye was after. Since this is a gift for you, you could unbox it on your own. Ji Yusha turned to look at Ji Yue, his stern face melted into tenderness. All right. Ji Yue pouted as she walked up to Ji Yusha and unboxed the gift clumsily. Well, there is nothing special about this 1000 odds ginseng fruit. Sponsored Content Remove Ads. A baby-shaped glistening fruit lied quietly inside the box. It was so adorable that one could not bear to eat it. The corner of Qin Xiaoye's lips curved into a faint smile and quickly vanished without a trace. However, Feng Ruqing had seen Qin Xiaoye's reaction. Luo Li, what does your stepmother wants to do? Feng Ruqing shrugged. She is not my stepmother, Luo Li said, resolutely. Even if Luo Fei had fallen for this lady, Luo Li would never accept her. Qing, keep an eye on the fruit given by Luo Fei. A good show is coming up. Qin Chen smiled, faintly. What? Initially, Feng Ruqing did not pay much attention to the fruit. After hearing Qin Chen's words, she furrowed her brows together as she looked at the finger-sized baby-shaped ginseng fruit. Sponsored Content Remove Ads. Wen Yu was standing among the crowd with a smile on her face. She knew that Qin Xiaoye was staring at her, but she pretended to not notice that. She turned to look at a middle-aged lady not far away and gave her a signal. The middle-aged lady read the signal and walked out of the crowd slowly with a smiling face. Young lady Ji Yu, I heard that this spirit herb has amazing beauty benefits and one can immediately feel the effect right after she eats it. As it was extremely hard to sow, we can rarely see it. Why don't you prove to us that the saying is real? Smiling, the middle-aged lady said as she slowly stepped out of the crowd. Growing increasingly impatient, Ji Yue stared coldly at the middle-aged lady. Sponsored Content Remove Ads. The middle-aged lady's words had titillated the curiosity of the crowd. I want to know if the 1000 odds ginseng fruit is truly so powerful. If the saying is real, I want to get one for my daughter. Young lady Ji Yu, why don't you show us the power of this spirit herb? We want to know if this spirit herb is worth all the hard work to grow. Young lady Ji Yu, since you said that the Luo family is no match for the lady that you like, if the spirit herb doesn't turn out the way we expect, it proves that the gift from the Luo family is not as precious as what Qin Xiaoye has claimed it to be. Originally, Ji Yue was dismissive of the Luo family's gift. After hearing the words of the people around her, her eyes lit up. They are right. Those who look down on Xiao Qing, I can prove them wrong. Moreover, I could take this chance to promote the herbal dish of paramount for Xiao Qing. Zhu Ming told Ji Yue before that paramount belonged to Feng Ruqing. Hence, Feng Ruqing was the actual master of paramount. Hence, Ji Yue was actually helping the Feng Ruqing if she could help paramount to get more customers. Well, since you all are so interested to know the effect, I will show it to you. Beaming with pride, the corner of Gue's lips lifted. Chapter 824. I am truly smart. Since Xiao Qing loves money so much, she will definitely think that I am a good wife. Sponsored content remove ads. Originally, Qin Xiaoye should be thrilled as Gue wanted to eat the spirit herb. However, when she heard Gue's words, color drained from her face. Her panic-stricken eyes were fixed at Wen Yu. This is totally different from what sister-in-law has told me. She is supposed to tell everyone that the thing in the box is poison. Why is she urging Gue to eat it? If Gue dies, the same would go to the Luo family. Are you alright? Luo Fei frowned. He had finally noticed that there was something wrong with Qin Xiaoye. No, nothing. Qin Xiaoye shook her head, her lips were quivering. It was not too late for Qin Xiaoye to tell everyone the truth now so that Luo Fei would not lose his life. However, if she did so, everyone would know that she was the one who had changed the spirit herb and wanted to kill Gue. She would lose her life. Sponsored content remove ads. Luo Fei, I am sorry. I have no choice. It's all Wen Yu's fault. She has left me in the dark. I have never thought that she would lie to me. Feng Ruqing could feel there was something wrong with the thousand odds ginseng fruit since the very beginning. There was a hint of violet traces on the right of the thousand odds ginseng fruit. The violet traces were too pale and one could hardly notice it at a glance. Suddenly, something flashed through Feng Ruqing's mind. Just as Gue wanted to bite into the thousand odds ginseng fruit, Feng Ruqing's face changed. She quickly rushed over and slapped Gue's hands. The spirit herb fell to the ground, its glistening flesh scattered all over the place. Dumbfounded, everyone looked at Feng Ruqing in bewilderment. Xiao Qing. Staring at Feng Ruqing's cold face, Gue too was startled. Sponsored content remove ads. What happened? Why is Xiao Qing so mad? Qin Xiaoye subconsciously heaved a sigh of relief. However, she could not reconcile herself to the fact that Feng Ruqing was the one who had stopped Gue. It seems that someone felt that her gift is too lousy and does not want others to give young lady Gue a precious gift. The corner of Qin Xiaoye's lips curved into a sneer. Luo Fei too was dissatisfied with Feng Ruqing's reaction. Hence, he did not stop Qin Xiaoye. He merely furrowed his brows together as he looked at Feng Ruqing. Young lady Xiao Qing, you are stunned. Jiusha did not know what Feng Ruqing was doing. Sponsored content remove ads. Is there any physician in the chief manor? Feng Ruqing was still calm and composed. He is in the middle of something and not in the chief manor now. Why are you looking for him? Get him back to the chief manor now. He will know what has happened once he is here. Calmly, Feng Ruqing's gaze swept past Luo Fei and was fixed on Qin Xiaoye for a while before landing on Jiusha. Will this lady find it out? Qin Xiaoye's face darkened. Well, what could she do even if she really finds it out? The spirit herb has been broken into pieces. Even if the physician is here, he will not be able to find anything. Thinking of this, Qin Xiaoyu loosened up a little and let out a long breath. Seeing Feng Ruqing's solemn face, Jiusha did not even in the slightest bit, relax. He signaled his subordinate to leave. A few people read his signal and left. In the crowd, Wen Yu and Qin Li exchanged glances, their eyes filled with panic. Wen Yu clenched her teeth and carefully took a few steps back. Qin Chen was watching both Wen Yu and Qin Li since the beginning. Once he noticed their movements, he whispered in Feng Ruqing's ear. Chapter 825. Feng Ruqing raised her brow and subconsciously followed Qin Chen's gaze. Seeing that Wen Yu was about to leave, the corner of her lips lifted. Sponsored content remove ads. No one is allowed to leave the chief manor before the physician is here. The feast will start later on. The people present was in an uproar. No one was allowed to leave. Who did this lady think she was? Does this lady think that she could do anything she wanted just because Gue liked her? Hearing this, Wen Yu paused. A flicker of fear crossed her pale face. The 1000 odds ginseng fruit is gone. With a cold face, Qin Li subconsciously held onto Wen Yu's hand. Sponsored content remove ads. In other words, no one would find out that the 1000 odds ginseng fruit was, in fact, poisonous. Moreover, even if someone found it out, it was a gift from Luo Fei. Hence, Luo Fei would appear as the person who wanted to kill Gue. If worse came to worst, he would make Qin Xiaoye a scapegoat. Qin Li and Wen Yu were not involved. Young lady Xiao Qing, what is going on? Seeing that everyone was in a state of tumult, Ji Yusha could not help but ask. Well, someone wants to poison Yi. Feng Ruqing sneered. Who dares to poison my dearest daughter? Ji Yusha burst out in anger that was like a furious lion. His eyes were blazing with murderous intent. Did someone want to poison Gue? Who had the guts to lay his hand on Gue in the chief manner? Everyone exchanged glances of disbelief. Sponsored content remove ads. That is impossible. Gue is Ji Yusha's everything. Who dares to poison her? Previously, Ji Yusha had risen to the manor master and even killed the former manor master because of Gue. He knew that when he was powerful enough, so no one would dare to humiliate Gue. Naturally, everyone knew that how much Ji Yusha loved his daughter. What do you mean? Qin Xiaoye sneered. You don't need to beat around the bush. You could just tell everyone that Luo Fei wants to poison Gue. Luo Fei has gone through all kinds of suffering and has spent so much time and effort before he could get this spirit herb for Gue. Not only have you destroyed it, you have even made him a scapegoat. Xiao Li, look at your good friend. Sponsored content remove ads. Father would not poison Gue, but Xiao Qing would not tell a lie, let alone make someone else a scapegoat. There must be something that I don't know. Luo Li was lost in her own thoughts. Since Feng Ruqing did not say anything after that, it was clear that she did not want to speak any further. Hence, Luo Li did not ask Feng Ruqing anything and was only waiting anxiously for the physician. Even though Luo Fei had upset Luo Li, he was Luo Li's father after all. Naturally, she did not want to see him making a big mistake. She did not want to see her grandfather's lifetime painstaking effort vanish without a trace. It was a silent night. The cloud overshadowed the last ray of moonlight. The chief manor was still brightly lit and everyone was waiting, quietly. Simply no one knew how much time had passed. Suddenly, a guard escorted a grey-haired elder into the chief manor, anxiously. Manor master, something happened in my manor and my daughter is sick. Hence, I had rushed back to my manor and did not manage to inform you. What has happened? Who is sick? Why are you summoning me so urgently? The grey-haired elder rushed up to Ji Yusha, anxiously. Young lady Xiao Qing, this is the physician of Chief Manor, Grandmaster Qian Kuan. He is on par with the Grandmaster Hai Rong. Ji Yusha turned to look at Feng Ruqing. Chapter 826, Evening Feast 15. Startled, Qian Kuan looked at Feng Ruqing in disbelief. Sponsored content remove ads. This young lady is the one who has summoned me so urgently. Feng Ruqing did not say a word. She squatted down and picked up a broken piece of spirit herb before everyone's eyes. The ginseng fruit seemed like glass and was extremely fragile, as if one could easily break it if he did not handle it with care. Feng Ruqing picked up a small piece of the translucent pulp. As the pulp was on the inside of the ginseng fruit, the violet traces were more obvious than they were on the outside. Even if they were just faint traces, people with good eyesight could easily spot it. Can you tell us what spirit herb is this? Feng Ruqing asked with a faint smile on her face. Sponsored content remove ads. This violet leaf ginseng fruit. Who brought this here? This is a highly toxic spirit herb. If one eats it, there is no cure for this poison. Qian Kun's eyes widened. The violet leaf ginseng fruit grew from the 1000 odds ginseng fruit. The duration for this plant producing 1000 odds ginseng fruit was extremely random, regardless of seasons, day or night. In other words, the plant bloomed as it wished and the fruit only lasts for a day. The fruit harvested on the day it was produced was named Thousand Odds Ginseng fruit. It had amazing beautifying benefits. One could get rid of the pockmarked face if he continuously took it for a week. However, after the day it was produced, violet leaves would grow and the fruit would turn into a highly toxic fruit, a violet leaf ginseng fruit. Just like potatoes, sprouted potatoes are poisonous. Hence, Thousand Odds ginseng fruit was extremely rare in this realm. Jiyusha's face darkened a few shades. His heart pounded rapidly as anger overtook his senses. If not for Feng Ruqing, Jiyue would have eaten the violet leaf ginseng fruit. Also, if Jiyusha had thrown Feng Ruqing out of the chief manor just now, no one could have stopped Jiyue from eating the poisonous fruit. Fortunately, Jiyue was still alive. Sponsored Content Remove ads. Manor Master, Chen Kuan was still murmuring. Who has brought this violet leaf ginseng fruit here? This person is so vicious. He has even plucked the leaves off so it looked exactly like the Thousand Odds ginseng fruit. One could hardly see that there is something wrong with this ginseng fruit from the outside. However, once the fruit is peeled, we can see it from the pulp. Luo Fei. Jiyusha gritted his teeth. A gust of mighty wind emanated out of him. Damn! Luo Fei. It was Luo Fei and Qin Xiaoyu who had nearly killed Jiyusha's dearest daughter. Jiyusha would never let them off easily, regardless of whether Luo Fei had accidentally bought the fake spirit herb or if he had truly wanted to kill Jiyue. Sponsored Content Remove ads. Fat. Though the Luo family has really found the Thousand Odds ginseng fruit. It turns out that Luo Fei is such a fool and has bought a violet leaf ginseng fruit instead. Even if the violet leaf ginseng fruit is a grade 6 spirit herb, it is not hard to get as it would only wither after a few months. Luo Fei is so smart but has ended up being cheated. He has truly offended the manor master this time. Standing rooted to the spot, tears broke free from Luo Li's eyes after hearing the crowd's chatter. Is Qin Xiaoye the one who had bought the fake ginseng fruit? You won't make this kind of mistake. Luo Li had a dry feeling in her throat. If Luo Fei was the one who had bought it, he must be able to tell there was something wrong with the ginseng fruit. Chapter 827. It must be Qin Xiaoye who had bought the wrong spirit herb. Luo Fei would never make such a mistake. Sponsored Content Remove ads. Father is not a fool. He must have asked Qin Xiaoye to buy the spirit herb. It must be Qin Xiaoye who has gotten cheated. Stop it. Luo Fei closed his eyes, as if in pain. This is my fault. I have bought this spirit herb. I was cheated. It has nothing to do with Xiaoye. She has never touched it. I have verified it many times before buying. How could this happen? Sponsored Content Remove ads. Since it was Luo Fei's fault, he would own up to his own mistake. For the first time, Luo Fei truly felt grateful for Feng Ruqing as she had stopped Jiyue. Only when Jiyue was safe, his mother and daughter would be free from danger. On the contrary, if Jiyue had died, none of the people of the Luo family would have survived. Father. It is impossible. Do you know what you are doing? You would never make this kind of mistake. Luo Li's voice was hoarse and exhausted. Luo Li could not believe what he had just heard. Staring at Luo Li's pale face, Luo Fei's heart was overflowing with bitterness. Until now, Luo Li still trusted Luo Fei to be a good person. On the contrary, Luo Fei had never trusted Luo Li. He truly felt sorry for her. Liar, you have finally called me your father. A relieved smile spread over Luo Fei's face. Sponsored Content Remove ads. I only have a simple wish. I really love Xiaoye. I hope both Xiaoye and you could get along well. I have never thought that you are so unyielding. Young lady Xiao Qing is right. I don't deserve to be your father. I know that I shall meet my fate this time. Xiaoye may lose her mind sometimes, but she is kind. Liar, promise me, don't hate her. Is that all right? Luo Fei was still defending Qin Xiaoye at moments like this. Luo Li's body stiffened. Xiaoye, I'm not afraid of death. The only thing I am worried about is my young daughter and seriously ill mother. They are the only two people left in the Luo family in the future. Please look after them for me. Luo Fei turned to look at Qin Xiaoye. Luo Fei had actually asked Qin Xiaoye to take care of his daughter and mother. Did he think that they had had enough of life and wanted them to keep him company in the underworld? Sponsored Content Remove Ads. Feng Ruqing truly felt Luo Fei was miserable and pitiful. You have hurt my daughter. Do you think I would let go of that? I would never do anything to the old and the young, but Qin Xiaoye will soon become your wife. Both of you must die. Ji Yusha let out a burst of boisterous laughter, his eyes were blazing with rage. Hearing this, Qin Xiaoye's eyes widened in shock. Luo Fei was the one who had gifted the spirit herb to Ji Yue, and it had nothing to do with Qin Xiaoye. Why must she die? Manor Master, I have not married Luo Fei yet. I am still part of the Qin family. Why do you want me to die together with Luo Fei? Qin Xiaoyue had completely lost her senses. Her heart was filled with resentment. When you told her that as long as Ji Yue was safe, Ji Yusha would not do anything to the Luo family besides alienating Luo Fei. Currently, not only did Ji Yusha want to kill Luo Fei, he actually wanted to kill Qin Xiaoye, too. This was completely different from what when you had said. Startled, Luo Fei stared at Qin Xiaoye's pale face. He had never thought of getting Qin Xiaoye involved. Chapter 8:28. However, Qin Xiaoye had resolutely distanced herself from Luo Fei when he was in danger. Sponsored Content Remove Ads. Luo Fei could not help feeling bitterly disappointed. He had even entrusted her mother and daughter to Qin Xiaoye just now. It was utterly absurd beyond words. However, Luo Fei understood that he could not blame Qin Xiaoye. As the saying goes, husband and wife are like two birds living in the same forest but fly away in separate directions when disaster strikes. Moreover, Qin Xiaoye was not his wife yet. Xiaoye, you promised that you would get the Grandmaster Hai Rong to treat my mother. Since I have always been treating you so well, I beg to keep your promise. Luo Fei closed his eyes gently, and opened them again slowly. Startled, Qin Fei stared at Qin Xiaoye. Since when had the Grandmaster Hai Rong agreed to treat the old lady of the Luo family? Qin Fei had never heard about this. Sponsored Content Remove Ads. Qin Xiaoye did not expect Luo Fei to say this in public. Her face turned ghastly pale. Get Hai Rong to treat people? Startled, Chen Kuan asked. He had once vowed that he would never treat anyone for the rest of his life. I have discussed with him about the Mu family's old master in the past 2 days. I asked him about this. He told me that he had treated the Mu family's old master as he owed the Mu family a favor. He would never treat anyone else for the rest of his life. Chen Kuan paused for a while and continued saying, as Qin Xiaoye does not know Hai Rong, why would Hai Rong help her? Even Chen Kuan would not simply treat just anyone. He was here in the chief manor as he owed the manor master a favor. He treated the Mu family's old master as the old master was Chen Kun's casual acquaintance. He could not bear to see the old master suffer. Sponsored Content Remove Ads. He would not simply treat anyone no matter how much they were willing to pay. Luo Fei panicked. Previously, Xiaoye had accidentally hurt Lia's hand. I asked her to apologize to Lia, but she told me that she could ask Qin Fei to get the Grandmaster Hai Rong to treat my mother as Qin Fei is very close to Mu Huan. The Grandmaster Hai Rong had treated Mu Huan so well. If the Grandmaster Hai Rong knew that I have asked Qin Xiaoye to apologize to Lia, he would not treat my mother. She promised me. It must be a lie. I won't believe it. Although Luo Fei loved Qin Xiaoye, Luo Li was his daughter. He had hurt his own daughter's feelings because of his mother. Everything he did it for his mother. Since Lia was so close to his mother, Lia would definitely understand Luo Fei in the future. Sponsored Content Remove Ads. However, it turned out that everything was a lie. Aunt, how could you deceive others using my name? I am close to Huana, but I don't know the Grandmaster Hai Rong. How could I have been able to get him to help? Qin Fei's eyes were blazing with fury as she glared at Qin Xiaoye in disbelief. It was fine if the Grandmaster Hai Rong was still treating people. However, everyone knew that the Grandmaster Hai Rong would never treat anyone anymore. Why did Qin Xiaoye do this? Luo Fei grabbed his hair tightly with his fists. Only when Qin Fei had finished her words, Luo Fei raised his head and looked dazedly at Qin Xiaoye. His voice was full of overflowing anger. You lied to me. Stop the nonsense. I did not say that. Luo Fei, as you have treated me so well, I did not tell others what you have done. I have never thought that you would make up this story and make me a scapegoat. Qin Xiaoye regained her composure and snorted. You're tuning in to the Dreamy Chapters YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.